Lemuria, the origins of African Genesis. Yes, in our beginning was the Spirit. During that discussion, Brother Bobby briefly touched on brothers and I sure hope sisters beyond the planets, from other planets, and those blue-black men who hold fort beneath our planet, Mother Earth. Tonight, it is my pleasure to introduce to some and reintroduce to others a brother who probably knows more about UFOs, or IFOs as he calls them, than most of us, Brother Bobby Hemmitt, an alumni of both Benedict College of Columbia, South Carolina, and Clark Atlanta University, where he received training in commercial fine art. Brother Hemmitt is an independent researcher of things ancient and African, a student of Awo. He focuses his research on African metaphysics, mystery systems, sacred science, and time cycles. Just to give you a brief preview of what he does. I want to say welcome, Alafia, Brother Bobby, and welcome back to these airways here on Potential Vibes.
Hotep. And I'd like to say hello out there to Brother Robert Calloway and Dawn, and also the Hemmitt family. And I would like to dedicate this show to a new member of the family. I think she's about a day old. This is my brother, my oldest brother. This is a year older than me. He and his wife, Ari Hemmitt and Ernita Hemmitt, they just had a baby named Asti Nadera. And so we're going to dedicate the show to her as the youngest member coming into the world, and we're going to dedicate the show to our ancestors, this one on the ninth dimension of the cosmic heaven, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and one that's Honorable Elijah Muhammad is on the eighth dimension, and the Master Farad Muhammad is on the ninth dimension. And I have to take this time out to say that I dedicate this show to those two brothers, because when you're talking about what we're getting ready to get into, this IFO, or we call it the wheel now. We're going to drop on it as the wheel, because the wheel is identifiable.
Okay.
And when we're talking about the wheel, we know that this black man dropped on the wheel before anybody else got into it. Those two brothers, you see, long before anybody else. And so it's more than, I feel more than happy to dedicate this to those two brothers. Those two masters, those two gods.
Okay. All right, so, Brother Bobby, last time you were here, you left us on the edge of our seats. I know you left me on the edge of mine. You talked about brothers and sisters being all over the cosmos. You spoke about the blue-black men who reside beneath the earth. And you talked about that great day, I call it the great day of Awo, when the brothers and sisters will reclaim their planet.
That's right, sister. Picking up where I left off, talking about the blue men from Sirius. Like I said, you need to get the book, Peter Tompkins' Mysteries of the Mexican Pyramids. There's two books. There's the Secrets of the Great Pyramids, it's dealing with the pyramids in Kemet, and then there's the Mysteries of the Mexican Pyramids. One came out in 71, and one came out in, the Mysteries of the Mexican Pyramid came out in 1976. There's a passage in there where they talk about these blue men from Sirius. They're seen all over the world. Blue-black men. Blue, when you say blue, you mean blue-black men. And they're seen all over the world. And we understand that these people are now in a place called Agartha, which is under the earth. And these people were around at the time to record the sinking of Atlantis. Now, I want to get into this, and I want to have a bit caution, because I think it's getting to the time that we don't need to romanticize anymore.
All right, Brother Bob, let me just stop you right here so you will not have to romanticize. Opinions expressed on Potential Vibes, which airs from now to 2 o'clock a.m., do not necessarily represent the opinions of Radio Free Georgia Broadcasting Incorporated, its staff, or volunteers. Also, this program, which airs from now until 2 o'clock a.m., may contain language which may be strong and or offensive to some listeners. Therefore, listener discretion is seriously advised. So follow, my brother.
What I mean by that is this. Next year is 1994. That's 10 years after 1984. Now let's backtrack to 1984 and see a series of events. Number one, we had Jesse Jackson stood up and ran for president. Well, we understand that he sold out and was selling out the whole time, but he did make a pivotal point in '84. We must realize this. And then we had the emergence of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan that stood up in defense for this brother and ended up being attacked by the beast. And then we had the ASCAC conference to break loose and start the whole Afrocentric movement. And then 4 years later, around '87, '88, we had a big pile of literature coming all over the place. And when I say I don't want to romanticize this, is I want to leave this passage with you. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that there will be a day when there will be pamphlets that would fall from the sky, and those pamphlets would say, "Go to your people." Now, whether you black or white, that means you got to know what time it is. If the white people out there listening, it means the same thing. You got to know what time it is. We're talking to black people. It means go to your people. Then it said, well, those pamphlets are going to stop. And when it stops, it's going to be a dreadful wheel in the sky. And when it stops, if you're not ready, you don't want to see the wheel, black or white. Now, what are the pamphlets? The pamphlets are these books by the thousands, all the literature that you want to make, all the literature that you want is here now. It's all around the country. There's no excuse for nobody being ignorant. And if you can't read, we got video and we got audio. Yes, sir. We know that Ayatollah Khomeini took over Iraq from a single cassette tape. And when the Shah of Iran woke up one morning, they were standing in his doggone front bedroom. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is this. It's no excuse. And it's about time for us to quit saying our people beautiful this and everything is beautiful. Retribution is here. And you got a choice. You can either go out with the powers that be, or you could be one of those people that reach the divine evolution. So I want you to sit back and I want you to pay close attention. So the two-part series, tonight I'm going to go into the historical origins on our perspective, so you won't have any confusion on what you're looking for on the IFO, or the magical wheel, as Ezekiel say, that great wheel in the sky. Yes, sir. And then next week, I'm going to go into what you can do, how this thing functions, and what you need to be doing at this particular time, based on your evolutionary process. Brothers and sisters, this is the call to get things right. You're not romanticizing anymore. Farrakhan, Brother Dr. Ben, Brother the Honorable John Henry Clark, anybody you can name has been speaking till they're blue in the face. We had conference after conference after conference. No other place on the planet has had this much information in an information society than right here in the United States, and that means that the brothers and sisters here are privileged. Now, we got brothers that's standing up in South Africa, getting ready to throw down with the oppressor, and you know they don't have none of this history. Mm-hmm. They don't know anything about this ancient history. Mm-hmm. And here we are privileged to have it, and we still buck dancing and bootlicking. Now, since we in wartime, I have to say to all you white people out there, it's time for you to get ready. You got to understand who your enemy is, and you got to understand what you need to do. And we understand that a lot of you understand more than our people. But now it's time for the big showdown, and the big showdown ain't going to be in the streets. The big showdown going to be the battle in the sky. Because we know that Yeltsin and Bill Clinton met, 2 weeks ago? And they decided that they were going to, let's get it on. Let's get this space station going on. So you got to understand what age you in and quit graveling over petty things that's out here in the street. And let's get it on. All right. With no further ado, let's get into the history. Anything else you want to add?
I'll just kick in if I have a question. Go ahead.
That's right. Now, the history. A war that went on a couple of 100,000 years ago, or 1 million years ago, between Pleiades and Sirius. As our brother in Chicago, Illinois, his name is Brother Delbert Blair, tells us as well as you can get several books. You can get the book The 12th Planet by Zachariah Sitchin. You can get, there's a couple of books that talk about Molnick. And it's this planet Molnick and this planet the Pleiades. There's so much books on the Pleiades now, but we got to understand who's on our side. Supposedly, a planet in the Pleiades had a so-called computer age. And they went into this computer age and they built the entire planet into one big computer, damn near what we're doing today. And as a result, they didn't do any work, and as a result, everything in the universe got kind of warped because of this. Anyway, our brothers from Sirius went to war with them and whooped their behinds. And as a result, they vowed to get back because they don't have the power, but one thing they do have. They had the persuasion to reincarnate and influence people on this planet and on other planets who were vulnerable. And we can understand who those powers to be in this time, who the Pleiades influenced. All right. We have the planet Molnick. Now, the planet Molnick was a planet based on evil experimentations, and you go through all your biblical history and everything, and these evil experimentations ended up exploding. And when it exploded, it wiped the face off of Mars. And the water from Mars, the salt water from Mars, came to the Earth. The salt water is not indigenous to Earth. This salt water contains sharks and different animals that we didn't have at first. But anyway, the scientists from Mars saw this coming, and they prepared for it. And now we have our brothers and sisters on Mars that live under the earth. I believe it was in 1962, a joint effort with the United States and Russia. Now, this is funny because Russia supposedly had been at war in 1962, or supposed had been the enemy, this communism and capitalism thing, remember? But they had a joint effort, and they went on an unmanned mission to Mars. It was something interesting what happened when they got there is they saw a movement under the ground, and when they touched down, this movement acted like it was a truck or some type of thing doing so many miles an hour getting out of the way. And the Russian, not knowing what went on, said, "Oh my God, this is 1962, we've landed on Mars, and there's life, Now, you can get this video from Bill Cooper's video called Alternative 3. Talks about how they went and had this brain drain in Britain and snatched up all these so-called scientists and scholars from Britain and took them up, and they have been working on a space station for the last 20-something years. But anyway, this planet Molnick, even though it exploded, remember the spirits still exist on the astral plane or the celestial planes, and they reincarnated into people on other planets. You must understand something about the cosmos. Well, we can understand who this influence is in this country or in the world. We can understand who these people are who have been influenced by these evil people from Molnick. Now, a bit of history. We must go to Kemet if we want to find the origins of this wheel or this IFO. And the better place to start, is where I start all my lectures, is the zodiac of Dendera. And in the zodiac of Dendera, you have a cow that's represented in the zodiac of Dendera, and in that cow, it has a star in between the horns. This cow represents Sirius, or Sotis, or the earlier form of Set, or Sut, before Set fell into the evil god, the fall of man. Now stick with me. Sirius is later represented by Aset, or you might know him as Isis. And it is represented as a cow in heaven. Now Isis, the representative of Isis, the root term for Isis means throne or it means seat, or the throne. Now, when you're looking at the throne, and you're looking at the archetypal form of Isis, and you're looking at the word throne, which means home, and we have this related to a celestial body you know today as Sirius. Well, Sirius, if it's called a throne, then we know that this is our direct relationship to the ancient world and the direct relationship to the brothers and sisters here that's catching hell. This is a key solar system, key planets in that solar system. Sirius is represented as our sun's sun. This means if you go on another realm or another solar system, the sun that you would be seeing at that particular time would be Sirius or Sothis, which is 16 times greater than our sun. In the Nile Valley, you have Kemet. And then we're going back to this Dendera zodiac. Now, in this Dendera zodiac, you have the depiction of Kemet, or the depiction of Sirius, represented as a cow, a heavenly cow. Also, at the bottom of the zodiac, you have the separating heaven from earth. You have the earthly plane. You have a lotus plant. And this lotus plant is represented as Sirius too. That's a cosmic law or universal law, as above, so below. That is a law that you must know. And we'll get into the laws a little later, or some things you need to do the next time I come. But this lotus plant represents the Nile Valley, and the actual Nile was called Sirius or Sothis. And it was represented by Isis in a later form. Now, if the throne and the seat is Sirius or Sothis, then we understand that Isis is Sirius or Sothis. When we understand that she has a son, and that son is named Horus, then we understand that he is connected with Sothis too. And we understand, dealing with Massey and other scholars, John G. Jackson, that Horus is nothing but the earlier representation of Jesus, our black revolutionary freedom fighter of his day, the Christ. So now, if the Christ figure is connected with Sirius or Sothis, then we understand, when you look into Jesus, all you brothers and sisters out in the church, that this is your solar system and this is your star. And this is where we need to be concerned with. Now, going a little deeper, the world goes by cycles. If you wasn't at the Black Media Communications about a week before last, you missed a great lecture on cycles. Now, cycles are what takes you into greatness and can take you out of greatness. Right. So you don't need to worry about how the powers of bees are going to get out of here. Their time is up, and the same cycle that brought them in is the cycle that's going to carry them out. Now, we have a history of a 26,000-year history. We call it the Sothic cycle, or they call it the Yugas in India, with the goddess Kali. And you have the Kali Yuga meaning the black cycle, the end cycle, which is the black cycle. And as you know, everything got to go back to black, the triple darkness of space. So we need to get this right. And this is a 26,000-year cycle. It is Sirius is called, or Sothis is called the repeater and the duplicator. Now, what repeats and duplicates means that, brothers, because you know every time we have a black history lecture, some brother always stand up and say, hey, if we were so great, how did we fall from all this? You always get this, and I'm quite sure every scholar out there had to entertain this question. Don't get mad at the white man. He was meant to be. That's called, as Brother Robert Calloway puts it, 180 degrees negative, and that means in a cycle now. Let's get it right. In a cycle, If you are a great people and you want to advance to a higher level, then you must be taken down in an involutionary process to the lowest level, so when you rise to the highest level, it will be even higher than what you fell from. That's like one of those bouncing balls, one of them little rubber balls. If you want it to go higher, you got to hit it as hard as you can to the lowest point and hit it with a great speed of force. In that way, it goes higher than what it was when you hit it. Now, so we understand that he had to be, and remember, we put him in power. We can't get mad because we, the Moors, as well as the Kemetians, the Moors opened up 16 universities in Europe. And after that, they were able to preserve this knowledge, and there you have it. But in cycles, that was meant to be too. Do you know, brothers and sisters, that the ancient Egyptian religion, and there's going to be a forum, I think it's going to be over at Clark at Brawley Hall. It's going to be on Tuesday, and it's going to be talking about their relationship, is there a relationship between Islam and the ancient Kemetic religion? Do you know that when the Greeks came into Kemet, they could not read hieroglyphics, so therefore, whatever the ancient Egyptian priests gave them, they meant to give it to them because they understood divine prophecy, and they understood that we were going to be on a boat going across the Atlantic, and when we got out of slavery, we was going to need some form of religion to save us. And the white man was going to have to be in some form of religion, or else he would have killed us all. You understand? This is the divine vessel that they housed it, and secretively, you didn't even know it. That all the religions are one, and our people secretively put it into order for the simple fact that they understood prophecy. They had to give it away after holding it for so many years because they understood something about the fall. You understand now? So we want to get that clear. But we have the Sattvic cycle and the Kali cycle, the Kali Yuga, coming out of India. Now, I said on the last program that when you read the world's great year in the Kemetic calendar, both in Gerald Massey's works, Ancient Egypt Light of the World, and also in Brother Charles Finch, Echoes of the Echoes of the Dark Land, or Themes from an African Eden, we are unsure about when this cycle ends because we started from Kemet, and that is too late. This 26,000-year cycle didn't start with Kemet. It started in the years of Atlantis and Lemuria. So this means that Kemet inherited the cycle. Need to get this clear because we got to have some precise time dates. Now, I'm getting to the wheel, but we got to set this thing up because we are here to learn something tonight. We just don't want to talk about no wheels. We got to make things clear because you're going to be looking for the wrong thing and you might run up on one of the government wheels. Yes, they have their own wheels now. No, they have their own UFOs or IFOs, but they don't have the wheel. We got the wheels of light, just like the 7 chakras of the body.
Teachertainment, Stanley.
Right on. Now, the point is, let's get into this cycle. We have the Kali Yuga, of the black cycle. And let me go into a little bit of esoteric knowledge to explain some things, and I'm going to decode this for you, because when we go out and do this research, we have to always come in, we have to always decode it for our people, or even for white people if you want to learn something. Because at this point in time, it don't make no difference. It's all over, people. Hey, people, it's all over. Prepare for war. The money's gone, the food's gone, the country's gone, and the world is gone, and we are in the hour to be preparing for war. Everybody. Now, inner space are colors, inner space colors of languages. It says, suggests a form of a particular dancing quality of colors, which in soul colors. Now let's look up this word color. I'm going to school tonight, so bear with me. Color, K-A-L-A, means time, also a digit of the moon, as maker of the bright and the dark forenights. Our word calendar. Our calendar, our world calendar, derives from Kala, time, cycle, Kali Yuga, Sattvic cycle, time. We're going into this time, we're getting out of this time. Are you going with me, brothers and sisters? There are 16 Kalas, or lunar fluids, known to the terrestrial science, and they are situated in the organism of the human female. Hence, Kali is the goddess of time, and Kala's time is the source of energy that empowers spacecraft. When converted into energy, Kalas appear as power that motivates spacecraft and enable them to travel infinite distance in a twinkling of an eye. Let's go back to Kala. Stick with me. They are not confined to only one of the four worlds. They interpenetrate them all. In this sense, the old ones, the ancient ones, the old black ones, the ancient black ones, the old gods, the ancient Kemetics, the ancient Africans, the old ones are the Mayatians. Mayat, what is Mayat, class? Mayat means truth, balance, righteousness, reciprocity. It means the laws of the universe. Mayat, reciprocity, and also reciprocity is the law of cause and effect. Right. We talk about retribution, brothers and sisters. So the old one is linked to Mayatians. Let's just call them the Mayatians. Experience no division into worlds. There is but one world for them because the supreme consciousness, footnote, there's a footnote by consciousness. So let's look up the footnote. Footnote number 28 represents acacia, black, pure consciousness. There's only but one consciousness, brothers and sisters, and that's the black consciousness. Remember, we are the indigenous people of this planet. There's only one consciousness. Admits no variation. This explains why Mayat, as truth, is equated with Ruti. Ruti, one of those geomancy terms, coming from the ancient papyrus of Kemet. Footnote number 29, look up 29, means truth. The truth is, all you people in the world looking for messiahs, ain't nothing coming back but black. And the black is already here. Truth. Am I getting this from white sources? No. I'm getting it from the whitest sources. So you can't say that this is some black stuff talking. This is coming all the way from the whitest sources. The black ones, Ruti 29, means truth, or it means the black ones. And with the supreme Kala, time, which as Mayati Kali, which means the time of retribution, ignites all feelings and all perceptions and all conceptions. She is therefore truly the black one. Kali equals black. Good God Almighty. And this is coming from the white boys. Seriously. Let's go on.
Seriously. You're in tune to WRFG.
Oh, glory.
You are in tune to WRFG Atlanta, 89.3 FM. This one Potential Vibes, and you're listening to Brother Bobby Hemmitt. Yes, right.
Ready for some more? Let's do it. Isis. It means in the book, I think it's in volume 1 of E. Wallace's Burgess book, Osiris, the Egyptian resurrection, whole chapter on Isis. And Isis says, I am the one who governs the star Kuning, which means, in another term, the star Sirius. And it also said, I will get retribution, read it for yourself, I will get retribution on the haters of the mothers and fathers. Who are the mothers and fathers of civilization? We are the mothers and fathers of civilization. Don't go by no bull job. You can go right into your own text, your own ancient text, and it's telling you what the deal is. Yes. I will get retribution on the mothers and fathers, on the haters of the mothers and fathers. And I will also get retribution on those haters of women. That's right. And you know who the author is of sexism. We know who the author of that is. But brothers out there, get your stuff together because you're going to get slayed. It ain't no time for romanticizing.
Queen Mother don't want it.
That's right. All right. Karnak Temple is a half a mile wide and a mile and a half long. The motherships, which means, mothership means a city-like ship, big as a city, that the smaller ships that you call UFOs are parked on. Kind of like an aircraft carrier, but you can talk about 200 of them on this thing. And it goes about 14,000 miles per hour or faster when it's slowing down. Karnak Temple, the Temple of Amun-Ra, half a mile wide and a mile and a half long. The mothership, half a mile wide and a mile and a half long, is driven by the ancient god Tahuti. Tahuti is known as the messenger of Ra.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
His symbol is a star and a crescent. We're in trouble now.
Slow down.
Honorable Elijah Muhammad is known as the messenger of Allah. His star, on his hat, he has what? His symbol is what? The star and the crescent. Tahuti is known as the driver or the pilot of the ship of Ra, the celestial ship of Ra. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is known as the pilot of the ship of Allah. Brothers and sisters, we need to quit bull jiving with these different ideologies. Our people are great enough to house themselves in anything that is of anything. So let's get it right. It's all one. If you don't understand the oneness, you're confused. It's all one. Remember, nobody got no religion, not unless we gave it to them.
Check.
Now, Ra. You have the Amenti, or the Henti, which is the time cycle leading into the Amenti. And in the Amenti, you have Ra says, I will get retribution not on all the people in the world, but on the enemies of Ra. Well, don't get excited, black people, because we understand that the powers that be is going out, but we also understand that some of you will become enemies too, because you refuse to submit to leadership that's good for you. So the enemies of Ra and Osiris. Ra is represented as a blue-black god in the works of Hermes Trismegistus, known as the works of Tahuti.
Yes, sir.
And in the teachings of Osiris, Osiris is a blue-black god. Same blue-black god that we talked about our brothers from Sirius, our brothers that's living under the earth at the moment. He's a blue-black god, but he's also represented as a green god, a god of vegetation. Now, vegetation is something that all of the animals and all of the people in their rightful mind eat. Not meat, but vegetation. So vegetation is one that always suffers because the world eats off of the green vegetation. What do black people do? If Osiris is a black god that suffers because he's also a green god of vegetation, then black people, being the root people of the world, everybody's eating off our back. You see how it's related? All right. You have the Henti is represented as every 160 years. Or let's get this right, 120 years. But at a particular time, you have what you call the Heros Gamos. Some precise time dates. Now, let's look up this Heros Gamos to try to find out what time it is. All right? The Sabdu, April 1994. April 1994.
It's not going to be in 94. Remember now, when we read this literature and we get this literature from the powers that be, they'll always give you the wrong dates because they don't want you to know what real time it is. We suggest anywhere around 1995 and 1996, when Sophis and Horus, Sabdu, celebrate their 50-year Heros Gamos, the Holy Union. Such close timing between the solar systems, the Sun, Earth, Pluto, and Neptune, and Sirius, or the Sophic star system, occurs but once every 90,000 years from the time of Atlantis, giving some inkling of a stunning rarity of evolutionary opportunity of humanity during the last 2 decades of the 20th century. Now the time upon us is cosmic energy already in the air. So brothers and sisters, you need to be meditating, you need to be eating right, and I don't want to say too much because next week I'm going to give you some things you need to do. But on with the origin of the wheel. We had the ancient commissions, and we know if you look the ancient Kemet land which stretched from here to Washington, D.C., because we know that we can fit America in Africa about 5 times. But when you go there, you don't understand, where did these people go? I understand you have the prototypical people down in Nubia, and if you get some early 19th century drawings by an artist by the name of David Roberts, and you go down in Nubia, you'll find out that they were still there with the still ancient Kemetic headdress on in the 19th century, just a little over 100 years ago, the late 19th century at that. But where did these people go? Where did the culture go? Where did they go? Well, one place we understand, if we trace this, they went to a place in Mali called, well, it's in the, they call it the Sudanic Mali, but it's in Mali, and this place is where some of our brothers and sisters migrated. And one of the tribes there is called the Dogon tribe. Now this tribe, when the Arabs came in, this tribe booked up and went to the mountains and the hills because they say that our culture was too great to not preserve. So by the time that other invaders got there, these people looked like savage people. They looked like people that, hey, nobody else wanted to bother. They say, oh, they don't have nothing we want, because remember when the invaders come in, they're looking for riches and they're looking for something that they could take. Well, these people played a slick move on them and made like there was something that was undesirable, and brothers and sisters, they preserved this ancient knowledge for us today. Now let's get into the Dogon. The Dogon is a tribe, another word, is a community of brothers and sisters that have certain knowledge of the stars that the Europeans, when arriving in 1930, said that there's no way these people could understand this. They knew things about the orbit. They knew things about the celestial orbit. They knew things about Saturn. They knew things about Mars. They knew things about all of the planets that the people said there's no way that they could understand this stuff. But they also knew about this Sirius star system. Revolves around Sirius is called Sirius B. They also told him about a Sirius C that revolved around Sirius. The Europeans said there's no way that you're supposed to know this type of stuff. And they thought they were crazy at first, but yet they went on and they found out that yes, it was true. They did obtain the knowledge of a star called the Dwarf Nova. It revolved around Sirius, or Sophis. And also this Sirius B, this star that revolved around it, had other stars called Sirius C, called the Star of Woman. Now, a couple of scientists in the 1950s photographed it, I think in 56 and 57, and they never saw it again. So they say, well, it must not be there. But it wasn't so much about the stars that these people were so fascinated with, because that was great too. But the most terrifying thing, if you're on the other side, is the mythology. Let's get into this mythology, because we got to move right along and get into these wheels, but it's all related. Now, the mythology is that the Dogon say we had the great god Amma, and the great god Amma created the world. Now, in the book, The Pale Fox, or you can get The Serious Mystery by Robert Temple, one that's in print, Amma is represented as a masculine principle, but we understand that there's no such thing as a masculine principle. There's only the masculine half of the feminine principle, so Amma is a she. Now, Amma created the world. Then Amma, follow this close, because it looks like the same doctrine that you know of in the stuff that you've been studying all your life. And you go to church every Sunday. Just follow it close. She created one son, and his name was Ogu, after creating the worlds. But she said that you're not complete. I'm going to create another brother by the name of Nomo, and I'm going to create two sisters. Now, please don't get too much trying to decode the mythology, because I'm going to do it for you, because what we're talking about here is science. See, the ancient Africans, when you look at physics, they house it in mythology, because that's the kind of people we were. We were gods. And this is the God speaking. Now, she said, I'm going to create your brother, and then I'm going to create two twin sisters for both of you. And that is your spiritual half. You remember now, man is not man, not unless man is part woman. And woman is not woman, not unless woman is part man. You have a male and female side, a male and female principles, all duality. But your spiritual side is your feminine side, because it is the archetype of the collective unconsciousness. You remember now, before, when you were forming in the womb, you were female, and you later on stay female or develop a penis. Now, said, I'm going to create your spiritual side. But Nomo, being restless, got impatient, and he tore out the side of his mother's womb and leaped forth into the universe. Now, in Kemet terms, or ancient Kemetic terms, that leap forth and breaking out of the side of the wombs, the god Set Typhon, who is an earlier god of this same Nomo, did the same thing, and that is nothing but the scientific formation of a mutation. Follow it? Check.
Check.
Now, he tore out the side of the mother's womb. She said, okay, cool. He said, but I want to be just like you. She said, you'll never be just like you, like me. Now, I'm trying to get this thing into a story form that you can understand. It's a lot more complicated than that, so just follow with me. He walked all over the universe. Now, remember now, we're not spooking you out, because if you go into scientific terms, this is the explanation in mythology explaining physics and science, okay? He walked all over the universe until he found out the power to create. And when he found out the power to create, he said, okay, I can create. And she said, no, but you will never be able to create one like me. Remember now, certain mutants can have all the mutants they want, but they can't have an original people. All in the science. Don't get mad at me. Go kill the Dogon. And then your time will be up.
Real quick.
That's right. Now, said that you would never be able to create an original people. So therefore, she created the other son. Now listen to this, because this sounds real familiar. And she said, this son will sacrifice for you. Okay, remember Jesus died for our sins and his sacrifice. And you see, we are arguing over stories just all over the world. And if we're going to get past the New Age, or to get past the New World Order, and enforce our New World Order, which is the Old World Order,
African world
the
order.
African World Order, you got to get out of this sectarian sense of religion, that my religion is better than your religion. It's all related. Awo. Now, she said, I'm going to sacrifice. He's going to sacrifice, because at first she was going to destroy the world. Well, we heard that before, too. You know, first God was mad, and he said he was going to destroy the world, but he sent his only begotten son. Okay, you see? Now, she said that this son will sacrifice for you. But one day, this son will return. And by the way, this son has its spiritual half. So you understand who that is? The people with the spiritual half. That's right. So this son is an original son, created from the womb of the mama. Spit out from the womb of the mama.
Straight up.
Straight up. So it said, he's going to sacrifice, but one day he's going to return with the ancestors of man, and he's going to subdue his evil brother, Ogu, who is known as the pale fox. Pale meaning, well, pale is just what it means, white. The absence of color. And fox means a trickster, a slickster, and the deceiver of the whole world.
Check.
With blue eyes.
Check.
Now, right, a mutant. Now, it's funny because when the Dogon tribe shows what Nomo is coming back in to subdue his evil brother, is nothing but a 1,000-year-old UFO, or IFO, identifiable because it's Nomo's Ark. That's what it's called. The Ark of Nomo, the Ark of Ra. And in this day and time, the Ark of Allah, which is Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Check. Now you got somebody living in your lifetime, so you got a lot to worry about.
Check.
Check. Now, going a little further. When the French got there, Marcel Griot and Jermaine Dileton, when they got to Mali, they saw them doing this dance. And this dance is called the Sigi ceremony. It's done every 60 years. They make sure they do it in 60 years so the generation who saw it before, most of them would have died out. It's done every 60 years. They didn't know what it was at the time. Now there's a little bit of confusion on the time dates, but you don't need to worry about the dates. You need to be getting your stuff together right now, because see, we know black people. We know y'all. Y'all gonna wait till the last minute, and don't wait till the last minute. Because when the last minute comes, they'll know whether you just made up your mind when you saw it.
So you saying CPT with time on what?
No, there ain't no CP time on this. You CP time on this, and you finish. You through. That's right, black people. It's not enough to say that the man on the scene now is going to kill you with his vaccines and all of this, just like Brother Otim just said. But yes, your own salvation, the so-called thing out of the sky that you've been waiting to come and take you to the pearly gates of heaven where you can drink milk and honey all day, is going to kill you too if you ain't right. And I'm going to tell you how to get right next week.
Even if you whiter than snow.
Even if you're whiter than snow.
Wash my sins whiter than snow.
That's right. But see, my point is right now is, based on time cycles, we know that the powers that be are going to get there, so we don't need to worry about them. They're on their way out. We're just telling you that you got the power to be God. And you have no business, especially you here in America that's got all of this knowledge and sitting around dedicated to the preservation of shaking your behinds. And the discos are either in church. We're saying there ain't no excuse. You got to get your stuff right. Now,
check.
This Sigi ceremony, every 60 years, well, supposedly, we got 2 dates now, because I'm going to correlate this with another story. And this story you're more familiar with. Well, some of you. Every 60 years they have the Sigi ceremony. The last one was in 1936. 60 years from 1936 is what? 1996. We know that we are on the Gregorian calendar, which is 4 years behind the original Sophic calendar, or the Julian calendar, which was close to the Sophist calendar. So we know that 4 years from now, we would say 1996, is year 2000, based on that. Now, the 60-year period coming from, let's just give it from anywhere from 1930 to 1936 to be on the safe side. Because the other story is this. They do this dance, and this dance is supposed to represent the birthday of Numo. And after this dance, everything and all hell is supposed to break loose, because this dance is also represented early in Kemet and was called Hemmitt, the birthday of Osiris, that was done every 120 years. But this dance, the Hemmitt, meant the end of it all. The end. What you've been waiting for is beyond, is right here, and it's right upon you, brothers and sisters, of people of the world. Let's get right. Now, this Hemmitt, we go back to 1930, or 36, or in that period, in that 6-year period, all kind of things jumped off. We had all kinds of things. We had Marcus Garvey, already in the middle of his stuff and almost ending his stuff. We had the jazz kicking behind. We had the blues kicking the behind. We had Daddy Grace. We had Father the Divine. We had all these great people. And if you go back, take any year, if you go back to, this is 1993, go back to 1983, and I guarantee you will find something that is represented and somewhere close, almost the same pattern, because cycles repeat. Remember that. You go back to 1930, 60 years ago, you go to 1990, you will see some of the same things. Now, in 1930, you had the Master Farad Muhammad came and supposedly taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad the sciences of the universe, and taught him how to be the true God that he really was and really is, in the person of God. A lot of you got a lot of problems with that, but you got to understand, the Bible tells you, ye are gods. Not the creator, but gods. Each person can be Christ-like. Christ, or Christ, K-I-S-T, means the anointed one. That means some spooked out person that was sent down can only be, you can be Christ. You can evolve to the Christ mind. You must understand this. So he came and he taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Taught him for 3 years. And at the end of the 3 years, it disappeared. But when it disappeared, they had a worldwide search for him. The governments around the world, the European governments had a worldwide search for him. But while he was there, he said, well, listen, we got enough followers here in Detroit. And it's funny now. This man came down. They said they had a big explosion in Canada. And the next thing you know, this minister Muhammad is on the scene in Michigan teaching. And they say you can go there right now and you can find some older people that remember a minister Muhammad. There's records of him being at UCLA, and also he put a math problem on the board that they haven't been able to solve to this day. Because remember, he only got one book of mathematics, and there's thousands of books of mathematics, and only the original people hold those.